There are allegations of apartheid nature of Israel, that it's just like South Africa, and even South Africans in politics are saying that. What has been your experience, please?
I personally have even heard the same propaganda, but that's what it is, propaganda. Unfortunately, with the BDS campaign, and unfortunately those who know the truth are silent. But I'm privileged to be part of the Meshoe family, and my father, being Reverend Dr. Kenneth Meshoe, has taught us to tell the truth at all costs. So we have been taught to be people of integrity. So the truth is, there is no apartheid in Israel. My parents have suffered through apartheid. I mean, being a black person, you couldn't even go to another black area without a passport. You couldn't be treated in the same hospital as the white people were during apartheid. But in Israel, a family friend of ours went to Israel 2 years ago, and he was in an accident, unfortunately, but he was taken to a hospital, and on his right was a Jew, on his left was an Arab being treated. So here he is as a black man, a black South African. He said to himself, this is not apartheid. What apartheid are they talking about? So unfortunately to me, I am saddened by a lot of the politicians who are spreading this propaganda. I am saddened by a lot of, if South Africans are participating in this propaganda that Israel is an apartheid state, I am saddened that they will go to the extent to demonize Israel when there is no such as an Israel being an apartheid state. Israel is not an apartheid state.
And what do the allegations do to the notion of what real apartheid was?
It obviously minimizes the pain and the suffering that Africans and people who went through apartheid actually experience. I mean, we all love the icon, he is a great icon, Nelson Mandela. If there was apartheid in Israel, then that means that Nelson Mandela, many of our freedom fighters, would not even have to go to prison because they wouldn't have anything to fight for. They fought for the right to move, the freedom of movement. They fought for the right to vote. All of that's in Israel.
For the Arabs?
Of course. In South Africa, they fought for the right for black South Africans to have the right to vote, the right to move into different areas without having a passport or a pass and things like that. That's free in Israel. The Arabs have the freedom to move. Black people have the freedom to move in Israel. And unfortunately, once again, lies and propaganda.
What do you think needs to be done in South Africa and as part of the BDS movement?
What needs to be done? What needs to be done is those who know the truth to speak up. Can't just be the Meshoes and a few others. We need to speak up and tell the truth that Israel is not an apartheid state. We love Israel, we love our Jewish people, but most importantly, we love the truth. Because the God that we serve is a God of love and is a God of truth. And in our Bible, we are taught to be people of the truth. So those who are silent, they need to rise up and make a stand for the truth.